Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Nelson, and members of this committee. My name is David A. Brown. I was appointed Chief Operating Officer of Genesee and Wyoming in October 2012. And in this capacity, I oversee the management and operations of the 116 railroads owned by G&W. G&W is a global railroad holding company that owns freight railroads in the U.S., Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, and Belgium. In the U.S., we own 2 Class II regional railroads and 105 Class III shortline railroads located in 39 states. Based on the diversity of G&W shortline holdings, we believe we are able to offer a relevant perspective on safety and efficiency of the shortline industry. I would like to address 4 areas for consideration by this committee within the focus of this hearing. First, shortline and regional railroad safety. Second, the infrastructure challenges facing shortline railroads. Third, the uncertainty created for shortline and regional railroads associated with the PTC mandate. And fourth, the importance of shortline and regional freight railroads as part of the national rail freight network. Like the railroad industry as a whole, G&W owned railroads have dramatically improved their safety performance over the past decade. We have become an industry leader in safety through an intense, multifaceted approach that focuses on building a culture of safety. As a result of this intense safety culture, 101 of 113 G&W owned railroads completed 2014 with 0 FRA reportable injuries, which yields a consolidated injury frequency rate that is safer than any Class I railroad and nearly 6 times safer than the shortline industry average. We believe the same attention to detail that is required to eliminate injuries translates to every area of operations, resulting in efficient, well-run freight service for our customers. Our objective is simply for every G&W owned railroad to stay injury-free every day. 86% of all shortline shipments are interchanged with the Class I railroad, demonstrating the interdependence between shortline railroads and the Class I carriers. This demonstrates the true network nature of Class I, II, and III railroads. However, if a shortline cannot handle the same weight of a freight car as its Class I connection, the utility of the shortline service to its customer suffers. The speed and weight limitations on shortline routes are most often due to aged rail and bridge structures. Limiting car weights and train speeds can ensure safe operations over these lines, but that does not address the lost economics caused by lighter freight shipments and slower service speeds faced by the customers dependent on our shortlines. Since 2004, Congress has provided a shortline tax credit to help shortline and regional railroads improve their lines, replace their rail, and upgrade their bridges, all to serve their customers with more competitive freight service. Since 2005, the credit has spurred over $1.5 billion of private investment in railroad infrastructure. The credit was extended on December 19th of last year with support from 15 members of this committee. Unfortunately, it expired on December 31st, 2014. I strongly encourage the Senate to renew it so as to continue encouraging the private sector during 2015 to invest in shortline and regional railroad infrastructure improvements. PTC implementation is led by the Class I industry and has not yet addressed areas of serious concern to the smaller freight railroads. The vast majority of focus on PTC implementation has been done by the Class I carriers and their suppliers without consideration to the financial and physical constraints of shortline railroads. Little attention has been given to these new PTC systems, but will interface with connecting shortline operations referred to as Frank mentioned, interoperability. The majority of shortlines that will be required to implement PTC are doing so because of a physical interaction with a Class I railroad. While the FRA created PTC exemptions for certain shortline operating situations, shortline railroads have no clear guidance on how to meaningfully apply these exemptions to actual situations. In addition to the significant costs associated with purchasing and installing PTC on shortline railroad locomotives, the technology being used for PTC requires ongoing technical support and maintenance that is largely unavailable on shortline railroads. The expense and difficulty in acquiring this support could be significant. Clearly, there is not enough time between now and December 31 of this year for this to happen. For these reasons, I encourage members of this committee to develop a fixed period of extension of the existing PTC deadline and to clarify the exceptions of shortlines railroads as they relate to Class I operations and Class I PTC implementation requirements. From a shortline perspective, it is amazing how focused one becomes on superior customer service when your railroad only has a few customers to serve, and those few customers must provide the cash to meet your payroll. Our part of the overall rail freight industry is highly capable of providing that first mile, last mile of service safely and efficiently. To that end, I ask the members of this committee to consider the following. Appreciate and understand the significant role short-line and regional railroads play as part of the U.S. rail freight network. Support extension of the short-line tax credit and allow the continuation of expanded reinvestment of private capital back into the short-line and regional railroads across the country. Understand that the economics and financial resources of short-line and regional railroads are limited, and recognize that the burdens of regulations and mandates like PTC fall heavily on the small railroads. Thank you.